What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. How is everyone doing? Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a very good weekend. I did. I had an amazing weekend. I went to the Poconos this weekend. It was fun. I had a good time. It was cold. It was definitely cold. A lot of snow, but I stuck it out. I'm not a big winter person. I don't care for the snow. I don't care for the cold, but I stuck it out. I was a trooper, so I had a good time, but I enjoyed myself. It was really good. So I hope everybody had a good time this weekend. I hope everybody did what they wanted to do, got things done. I hope everybody's coming into the new week with a better mindset, even if the weekend was shit. I hope you guys come into this week with all of that, leaving it in the past, leaving it how it is, and just having a new mindset for this week. I know easier said than done, but at least try, right? So the podcast for tonight is, I put up again another poll. I think, like I told you guys, I'm going to keep putting up polls to see what it is you guys want to talk about, because a lot of the times, I don't want to just like talk about nonsense. I have all these ideas, but I also want to know what it is you guys want to speak on, or what it is you want to hear about, what it is you guys want to interact about. So I like taking the poll questions and figuring out which ones, putting up topics and seeing which ones you guys want to listen to. So I put up 3 different ones on the Drinks After Work podcast IG, and even on my own personal one, and everybody wanted this one topic. Like, again, it's interesting, like when I put these topics up, how many people pick the ones that I don't think that they're going to go for over the ones that I think they're going to go for. And it was interesting. So tonight's conversation is about dating younger. And I guess the pros and the cons of dating younger, and why some, and when I say dating younger, I mean as far as women dating younger men now. And it's not something that's brand new. It's not something that has just recently started happening. It's been happening for years. Our grandparents' time, our great grandparents' time, our parents' time, everyone has dated younger, but it's always been, I guess, shunned on for women to date younger men, when older men have dated younger women for years. And I guess that's considered the norm, or typical, right, for an older man to date a younger woman. But now I see more women dating younger than dating their age, or even dating older. So for me personally, I've dated both older, my age, and younger. So I kind of have like the experience with all three areas, all 3 angles of it. That dating older, they seemed more, I don't want to say granddaddy-ish, but they were always tired. They didn't want to do anything. They didn't, that sounds terrible, but they were just like, the energy was low, the stamina was low, the energy was low, and it was just like, bro, like, can we do something other than just stay at home and not do nothing? Like, can we go somewhere? And whenever we did go anywhere, it was fun for the most part, but it was just like, being in my 20s, I was just like, I wanted to get up, I wanted to dance, I wanted to enjoy myself, and they would be just sitting down, bopping their head, enjoying themselves. And it's just like, okay, you don't want to dance with me, you don't want to enjoy yourself with me. So I just noticed that they definitely knew what they wanted, but it wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. Dating my age is kind of like we were both in the same type of mindset. We knew, had an idea of where we wanted to go, but was still figuring it out. And then dating younger, it was a toss up because I dated one person who was younger than me and he was very immature. Had his moments where he was okay and he was good, but then a lot of the conversations that we would have or that I would want to have, it wouldn't go anywhere because it was just like, that's not what he wanted to think about. He didn't care at the moment. He didn't care about commitment. He didn't care about any of that. So it was just kind of, like, I guess when you say off-putting, or it was just kind of like, we just don't have that much in common as much as I thought we would. And then dating now recently someone who is younger than me, has the same mindset, wants the same things, has already enjoyed, the younger lifestyle, I guess you want to call it, or the single man lifestyle, doing whatever, he was doing, and then now wanting to settle down. So it was a toss up because, I dated two younger guys who had two different type of mindsets at the time. So I feel like that happens when you date guys, period. It doesn't really matter the age. Like, they could be older and they could still have this fucked up mindset of still wanting to be Mr. Playboy and wanting to fuck around with everybody that they see. And then they can be your age and still have that same mindset. They could be younger and still have that same mindset. Or they can literally be younger and have that same mindset as you and wanting to settle down, not caring about running the streets, not caring about spinning the block and doing all this extra nonsense that you would do in your, at that time, or I guess you would say early 20s or late teenage years, however young you go. Legally, let's promote that legally. But whatever it is, I think it just depends on the person. It really depends on the person. It depends on where their head is. But of course, I read up on it and I was just like, why is this a thing that a lot of women are now, as I see it now, a lot of women my age have decided to date younger. So let's just jump right into it, right? So like I said, I was reading up on it. I kind of have my own idea of it, but I kind of also wanted to know from like an expert's perspective. So I read on brides.com. This doctor, I'm still going to botch up her name, Dr. Chostosky, something like that. That's her name. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it and if she ever hears this, but the one reason she says that a lot of women have come to her asking about dating younger was, and why they date younger. Younger men have more sexual compatibility and have more of a sex drive than older men. And for older women, that's what they're looking for. So I guess it's not to say that old men can't keep up, but I guess also wanting to do more things in the bedroom instead of just doing boring ass missionary. Like, you want to do other things. You want back shots. You want a little bit of twist and turn, rather than, you know what I mean? Like, you want something more interesting than just laying on your back and then that's it, you're done. That's boring. So she continues saying that a lot of women that she worked with reported reaching a sexual renaissance in middle age, and that this is due to a combination of factors, including having more time for intimacy as careers solidify and children reach more self-sufficient milestones, a more comprehensive understanding of our own sexuality, what we like, how to ask for it, and having the kind of self-confidence that comes with having been around the block a few times and weather our fair shares of the storm. We're a bit better at not sweating the small stuff. Like, cellulite, who cares about it? She said bikini wax, couldn't be bothered. Girl, you on your own with that, because bikini wax me all the time. Don't, smooth it in the baby's behind. But anyway, she said that, and this energy can be incredibly seductive. If they're dating men our own age, or of an older age, we may find that their libido is starting to slow down slightly. She also said that these generations are generally more progressive and socially cognizant about a wide range of issues, including feminism, sexual health, body positivity, the importance of mental health, and going to therapy, which can make a wonderful partner. Now, everything that she said kind of makes sense as to why maybe older women choose to go to younger men. I can't say like, me personally, 2 years is as young as I'm going. I can't see me rocking the cradle and going any younger than 2 years. And I personally feel that way because they more than likely will not have the same mindset as I will have. They probably don't want the same things that I do. It's rare that you find ones who do want the same thing that you would like to have right now, like marriage and children and creating generational wealth and wanting to travel the world and just not always partying every weekend, not always wanting to spend $1,800 on a section in the club. Like, just having more of a mature mindset and wanting more for their life other than just being in the club scene and going to lounges every weekend. So I feel like 2 years is as young as I can go. I'm 32. God willing, I'll be 33 this year, in June. And the guy that I'm dating is 31 right now. So it's a 2-year difference, but the maturity is there though. I do see that he is way more mature than the guys who I dated who were my age and even older than me. But also wanting to have fun and wanting to go out and wanting to do other things and being, being more adventurous, being more spontaneous. That I feel like a lot of older men forget to do. That you need to continue to date your girlfriend, continue to do things or your wife or your fiance, whoever, continue to do that. And this is not an all older men do this, because it's not. A lot of men probably don't have this problem, but you do have a good majority of them that, you have to like put out an SOS sign, and it needs to be in like neon colors, and they have to have it literally written on their forehead or written on your forehead to tell them what it is that you need them to do. And I feel like that's just men in general, but a lot of older men just have this problem, or men my age have this problem where they just can't put two and two together. Like, hello, are you not reading the room? Read the room. But I can understand like what she said as far as like the younger generation is being more in tune with kind of with what women want, but at the same time they're fighting it. It's so hard to really have this conversation, because it's like, it's there, but at the same time you see the shit that you see on social media, and it's just like, okay, which one is it? But a lot of the times people just play stupid and play dumb on social media because it just gives them likes, it just gives them the attention that they want, knowing that that's not even what or who they really are. So I don't know, it's like it's a toss up, honestly. But overall, I feel like older women just like younger men because of their stamina and how much they can just keep up and keep going and keep life interesting. But then on the flip side, she asks why younger men date older women, because that's kind of interesting too, right? Like wanting to know why older women, like why not someone who's your age that, you may not have so many, I don't want to say commitment problems. You may not have so many things that you have to check off. Because as an older woman, it's like we don't have time for the bullshit. And I'm saying older as like a woman in her 30s. Like, I don't have time for the nonsense. If you don't know what it is you want, that's cool. That's fine. If you know that you want to still spin the block and run the streets, that's cool too. Don't come over to me though. Stay over there. But, and if you don't want, to have children and get married, I don't have kids. I've never been married. I do want to get married and I do want to have kids. So knowing that, that's what I'm looking for, and knowing that that's not what you want, you need to kind of stay in your lane and stay in your zone, and stay away from women who do want those particular things, and who is looking for someone to share and have that type of lifestyle with. So it is interesting to know why younger men choose to date older women. And I feel like most younger men date older women simply because we know what we want. We have been around the block a few times. We have seen what we like and what we don't like. We have experience sexually. We know, we're kind of in tune with the things, like when we know, like when you're playing with us, we know when you're not. We know when you're for real. We know when we can sift through the bullshit. Not all of us, some of us. And like I said, being in my 30s and having had dated the guys who I've dated in the past, and being in the relationships that I've been in, it's kind of like now I can not only know what I like, not only know what I'm looking for, and not only demand it, but also require it, if demanding is too strong for those of you who are listening to it, but requiring for a man to do the things that I would need or I would like. Like I said, it's easy. It's easier for me to say, like, okay, this is what I want. And if they say, okay, well, I'm down for X, Y, and Z and not with A, B, and C. All right, well, that's good. It was always nice meeting you. And then sometimes they'll take it as like, well, what do you mean? Like, is it, and then they'll automatically jump to the age, like, oh, is it because I'm young? Well, no, but it's the fact that when I said this is what I wanted, and you came back to me saying that, okay, well, this is what you want. Well, clearly we're not going to work. So, continue doing what you're doing and continue looking for what you're looking for, but that's not me. And, majority of them respect it. They get it. But then, you have a few of them that always want to say some next shit, but why wouldn't they? But according to the Dr. Choskowski, I swear if I'm messing, I know I'm messing up her name, and I'm so sorry. But she said that many of the men she worked with describe their frustration at repeatedly asking partners, "What do you like in bed?" So we're going back to the bed thing. I guess it's like a lot of sexual stuff, right? And finding that the genuine curiosity is met with, "I don't know." And then she's talking about why younger men don't date younger women, because they're always met with the answer of, well, I don't know. Whereas I guess with an older woman, it's like, okay, well, we like this, we like that, we like that, we like this. And that, I guess, is more of a turn on than saying, well, I don't know. Do whatever you want. Like, just making it mad easy for them just to say, like, I don't know. Like, whatever you want to do, I'm down for. But she also said finding a partner who can say, this is, like, like I said, this is what I love to do with you, is incredibly a turn on. So, just like I said. And that it's not to say that sexual communication is something exclusive to a certain age, but older women may have had more practice with these conversations, and maybe even more time in therapy workshops and also in the bedroom. Now, I didn't know they had sexual therapy workshops. I'm new to that. I didn't know anything about that. Like, what? They have those things? But I guess, like, as like I said, like, as you've been around the block, and I don't mean that in a hoe way, because I know somebody's going to take that as somebody having to have been a hoe. Like, no. When you say been around the block, it doesn't necessarily mean like you slept with everybody. It's just that you've had your experiences with this type of man, that type of man, that type of man, that type of man, and you're just over it. You know how it goes. You know how this works. You know what they're going to say. You know what they're going to do. You know how they're going to persuade you and what they're going to try to say to you. So I think as you get older and the more experience that you have, you are able to, like I said, sift through who's really going to give you what you want versus who's just going to just talk out of the side of their ass and not really give you anything but just say what sounds good and then really not put up the show that you would think that they would give you. But I don't know. Who's to say? Now, dating younger is cool and all. Like I said, there's the pros and the cons of it all, but you have to know what to think about before dating younger, because it can just all be fun and cool and everything, like as far as sexually wise and having the whole bedroom experience and, the lights and camera and action. All that can be cool and whatever. Like that's good. And that's exactly, everybody should want that, a good sexual chemistry with the person who you're with. But there's also more to think about and to dive into when you're deciding to date someone younger, ladies and gentlemen who want to date someone who's older, or even someone who is their age but just has an older mindset and who doesn't have the mindset of what a lot of these young girls have nowadays. I mean, especially nowadays. Even if you listen to, I think it was episode 4 that I had put out where it said commitment issues in our generation. And I cannot wait for part 2. Part 2 is going to be hilarious. And it's going to be really interesting because we're going to get both sides of the spectrum, other women and men, and to really hear their ideas about commitment issues. But for the sake of this episode, just for women dating younger men and younger men dating older women. So there are a few things that, there's to consider before you decide that this is something that you may want to do. So the first thing is younger men often have different priorities. And gentlemen, older women know what they want. Granted, they have, like I said, they may have more stamina, more ambition, and maybe have the same sexual desires as you, but they may not have the same mindset and wants as you do, as I've been saying the entire time. At least not yet, right? So for ladies, for us dating at a younger, or dating a man who's younger, they might be in the works of making a name for themselves and figuring out what they want in life, while we're already settled into our careers or just starting to settle into our careers. That could hinder a possibility of a relationship. This may also hinder the amount of times that you spend with the person, because they're busy getting their life together while your life is kind of you're still getting it together as well, but you're in you started already. You're in the midst of the storm, so you already know what's going on and what's next, and where to go to from here, being in your career. The amount of dates that you guys will go on probably won't be that often, because again, they're trying to figure themselves out while you already have a sense of who you are. And they may also be, not ready to want to settle down either. They may still want to run the streets. They may still want to be around, all the guys. They may want to hang around and go to the parties and the lounges and this and that. And that may not be what you're looking for, compared to an older man, however, who is more than likely set in his schedule. He has his career going. He knows what he wants to do. He travels. He does kind of the same things that you do. So there is more of an interest. I mean, more of a, not an interest. You guys more have more in common, but um, he'll be able to make more time for you. And I think that that's kind of like the pros and cons with dating someone who is younger, because they're still trying to figure themselves out. They still don't know. And even sometimes older men too, you may run into that too, where there are older men who are doing a career shift. They may not want to be in the career that they're in now and want to go somewhere else. I guess you can say younger men too. Some younger men now, because it's so like, I want to say it's easy, but now it's like a lot of people want to work for themselves. Not everybody wants to have a 9 to 5. You have people doing streaming on Twitch and video games and YouTube and a bunch of different ways to have income now, that there is no just clock in and that's it. For some people it's okay. There's nothing wrong with the clocking in at a 9 to 5. Some people that just suits them and that's good for them. But for other people, that's just not their thing. So it depends, but majority of younger men don't really know yet where they're going, and they don't know yet where they're heading. So that may kind of be a little confusing and annoying for an older woman. But for older women, I mean, for not older women, but for younger men who are dating older women, know that older women know what they want. So don't play stupid. Don't act like you don't understand. Don't act like you don't hear what they're saying. If they tell you, like, listen, I'm looking for stability, I'm looking for a lifelong partner, I want to buy homes, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to have children, I want to get married, X, Y, Z. Their priorities are there because not only is our biological clock ticking, we have one of those. You guys don't. We are, I don't want to say in a rush, but it's just like I said, the clock is ticking. So we kind of have to make hay while the sun shines, as the older generation likes to say. And if you're okay with that, if you're okay with stepping up to the plate and getting to that point where that suits an older woman, then by all means, let's get together. Let's do what we have to do, and let's take it to that level. But if you're not there yet, say that. Don't waste time. The second thing that I didn't think about, honestly, but it said that younger men can have less of a pass, whereas older women have been there, done that. And I guess I don't know, because nowadays you have these young boys, they outside, and when I say they outside, they have like 2, 3, 4, 5 different girls that they're talking to, and all of them know about each other, and they're enjoying themselves. So I don't really know if you could say that they have less of a pass. I feel like it depends on the individual. It depends on who they are, how they carry themselves, what they bring around them. But I do feel that younger men, probably a lot of them don't really have children as much. Many of them have never been married. And again, this is not a majority. This is not a certain percentage, but more younger men don't have children than if you look at your age group right now, and then you say, okay, my age group, like for me, being 32, a lot of people in my age and older have kids. And the kids are grown. Like they have 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 10, 13 grown kids, and some are just now starting to have children in their 30s. But the younger generation, not so much. They may not have children at 20, 21, 22 years old. And again, depending on how young you're trying to go, ladies, it depends on how young you're trying to go. But a lot of them don't have that, I guess, extra I guess you could call it extra baggage, or you can have extra the past. They don't have too much to worry. You don't have much to worry about because they haven't done or haven't been in many situations compared to someone who is your age. But for the younger men, like I said before, when dating an older woman, it's more of a been there, done that. We know how it goes. We've seen it. We've been there. There's nothing that you're not telling me that I don't know about. There's nothing that you're doing more than likely that I haven't done already. So it's not a matter of can I persuade her to understand how I'm feeling or understand what I want. It's more of a we know what you're feeling, we know what you want, and we don't want that. So the third is you'll likely have more life experiences for the ladies who are older and dating someone younger. They're not going to know a lot of things. They're not going to know or have been to a lot of the places that you've been to, have not experienced a lot of things that you've experienced. I know for me, when I was dating the first guy that I dated that was younger than me, he never been like outside of New York, which was weird to me. And I was just like, huh? But I also had to understand that, some people never really, if you're not exposed to it, it's never going to really be on your radar. And if you're really not interested in it, or you don't have people around you who have the same type of mentality of wanting to be exposed to everything outside of their community, then they're stuck with that mindset of just being in this one area, in this one radius of a area. But I do notice that too, that a lot of people or a lot of men who are younger, they do travel a lot. They travel a lot, but just to the basic places like Miami, LA, Vegas. But, going outside of the country, having a passport, international traveling, that I do notice that a lot of younger men don't or haven't really experienced because they've never really been exposed to it or never had anybody tell them or teach them about the outside world. Although they see it, they never really thought like, maybe I could possibly do it as well. So there'll be life experiences like traveling. I just use that for an example that they may not have ever witnessed or had been approached by a female to bring to their attention, and you may have to teach them certain things that they may not have been exposed to. And for the younger men who are dating older women, be open to being taught. There's nothing wrong with being taught certain things that you were never told about, that was never taught to you by your own parents or your own guardians. It's okay, but you have to understand you're talking and you're dating someone who has been there and who has seen it. And I think it's also important that as the older woman in the relationship, you also have to understand that you can't teach them like they're little kids. Still talk to them like that's still a man. He may be younger than you, but he's still a man. And show him without belittling him. I think a lot of women, not a lot, I won't say a lot, I'll say some women have a problem with belittling men because they just don't know how to do, or they never had the experiences that you've had. And it's one thing to teach them how to do something, and it's another thing to talk down to them. Like, I don't like being talked at like by anybody. Don't talk at me. Talk to me, don't talk at me. And if you need to teach me something, or if I'm mistaking if I'm misspeaking or misspoken, if I'm misspeaking, and if I'm not knowing something or I'm saying something incorrect, tell me and teach me how I can be better. But don't try to make it seem like I can't comprehend or like I'm dumb. And I feel like a lot of men, most men, don't like when their women belittle them or try to talk down or talk at them. So you have to understand that too. You have to watch your approach on how you speak, but you also, gentlemen, have to be open to being taught. Don't be closed off or think that just because, oh, you think you have all this experience, you're going to talk to me like, no, I'm talking to you like this in a monotone, and I'm trying to tell you and explain to you about this new restaurant, or possibly going here, or maybe you should try this out because this is something that you're interested in. Or how about we speak about, something other than what happened last night on that reality show, like certain things like that. Or just like this celebrity, that's like just having more of a deeper connection and more of a deeper conversation, or wanting your relationship to go to another area than it just being surface. So that's actually something that I witnessed too. Like the experience is different. But with this one, no, I don't have to worry about that. But this one is he's more well-rounded as far as he wants to do everything that he has done and still learn, as far as like what else can we both teach each other, but also wanting to redo things that he has done in the past with me and things that I have done in the past with him. So I think it's cute, right? The next one is, you may get pushback from friends and family. Okay, so this one is like really quick because I feel like, who cares? Who really cares? Who you date is your business. Who you like is your business. Who is compatible to you is your business, and nobody else's. If your friends and your family don't get it, or they're like, well, why would you date someone that's younger than you? Like, don't you feel like you're rocking the cradle, or don't you feel like you're their mother, or just mind your business? Mind your business. Figure out why your husband, who is older than you, is still messing around with other women who are younger than you. That was harsh, but I said what I said. And again, that's not for everybody. That's not everybody's situation, but you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that pushback. You're gonna get that. Why would you? And I think you could do better. And and that comes with, not even just with age. That comes with any guy that you could possibly date. But I mean, who cares? If the person makes you happy, if the person is checking off all the boxes, if they're filling your cup up, if they're giving you what you need and what you're looking for and what you're longing for, why does it matter what the rest of what your friends and your family say? They'll be okay. And the last part, your views on commitment may be different. So I feel like, again, that's just something that is, I guess, different depending on the person who you're dating and who you're talking to. For older women, of course, like I said, it's very much children, marriage, or even if it's not marriage, just a long-term committed relationship, because not everybody believes in marriage. Children, if not children, just, again, another long-term committed relationship with just you two. Wanting to travel the world, wanting to build a house, or just, buy a home, having multiple streams of income, doing things that I guess a mature relationship would want to do. Go to restaurants, go on dates, do more things than just going to the club and just going and doing the basic things that you've done when you were younger. And that's a conversation, I think, that just has to happen. I feel like that's regardless of whoever you date, whether they're older than you or younger than you. I think it really just depends on the conversation and and just having the conversation with your person to tell them, this is what I'm looking for and this is what I want. And that's not to say, again, that just because they're younger than you, they're going to automatically have this mindset of, well, I don't want to do marriage and children and settling down and just me and you forever type. I don't want to do that. Like, that's not to say that they'll feel that way. They may just be on that same type of time. And like, you know, if you're 35 and he's 27 and he's like, yeah, I've had my fun, I've done what I had to do, I enjoyed it, it was cool, but it's boring, I don't want to deal with it no more, then that's your answer. They're ready. And if they say, like, I'm ready for commitment, and they show you, that's the major thing. I think it's showing. Like, it's one thing for you to just speak about it, it's one thing for you to just say it, but if you could show that you're actually committed to wanting something stable and wanting something long term, that speaks way more than you just talking and opening and japping your jaw. You have to show me that this is what you want to do. And how you can show is by knowing your partner. Because I know that's probably another question that somebody's asking, like, well, how the hell do you show it? You should know your partner. You should know what your partner likes, what your partner needs, and that's how you show it. If your partner is and again, this also comes back to the love language, right? Everybody has a love language, and there's 5 of them. So if you know your partner's love language, or if you're really not sure, like, I had to ask, like, I thought I knew his love language, and he was like, no, it's more of acts of service and quality time. I had a feeling it was quality time, but I think I mentioned something else other than that. But I did say, what I said words. No, I didn't say words of affirmation. I think it was physical touch. I think I said physical touch, but I think that was more of that's like my top 2, because everybody has all 5, but everyone has like 2 that they really, really need. And for me, physical touch was one of the 2 that I really needed. But for him, it was acts of service. So knowing your partner's love language is how you can show, rather than just all the talking in the world. If they're a person who likes acts of service, you do things for them, cleaning up, or fixing things in the house, or just taking the trash out, cleaning the bathroom. You pack their lunch, right? You fill up the gas tank. There's certain things that, like, I guess would be considered like the acts of service, and how it would come off to your partner, rather than if that's their love language. If physical touch is their love language, you obviously holding their hand, rubbing their thigh, rubbing their back, massaging them. That's the physical touch, always having your hand on them. And again, just knowing what their love language is will help as far as showing, rather than just speaking on it. And also knowing where they stand as far as marriage. Like, if you want to get married, and I feel like a lot of older women, especially my generation, they want to get married, but everybody's just so scared to say that that's what they want. Like, they're terrified to admit that that's what they're looking for, and that's what they're looking for. Like, I've always wanted to be married, so I've always made that known to an extent. I think I wasn't as vocal about it until, like, my last relationship, and I made it very clear, like, that's what I want to do. And I think just with age, that made me want to just vocalize it more and make it a priority. So now, in my dating life, I've said that, and I've been very transparent on it, like how it made me feel, and why I want to, and what does it mean to me, and everything. So I feel like a lot of women in my generation, even older, probably still want to get married, but they're just so, like, over the conversation, basically having the conversation with men, and then just going on deaf ears. That's one. And then 2, men wanting that same commitment, wanting the commitment of marriage, or probably wanting the commitment of long term, and then possibly getting it to marriage, but they're so stuck in what they see in social media, what their homeboys is doing, what they've always known, and not trying to look outside the box or figure out how can I be this person for this lady that I'm interested in, and how can I show up and want to work on how to be and how to get to that point for someone. I don't know. It's like I said, it's like it's kind of like a toss, because it really depends, but it depends on the person, I feel like. But the views on commitment will definitely differ depending on your age. And not all of you will have the same type of mindset, the same type of idea. But again, that's when the communication comes in. And that's dating younger, guys. I really just feel like, when, and I really wanted this to just be about women and women dating younger men, because it's not common for older men dating younger women. That has always been a thing. That's always kind of like how, I guess you want to say, the norm is for the man to be older and the woman to be younger. But it's rare that you ever see the woman being older and the man being younger. And then there's always, not setback, there's always backlash about, oh, why would you date someone younger than you? Or she's rocking the cradle, or she's a MILF, or she's this. Like, it's always something attached to a woman dating someone younger, where it could just easily be that they are fulfilling the needs that they are looking for, just like a man who's dating younger and won't date a woman who's older, or who won't date a woman who's his age. I know some men who have said to me, I will never date somebody who's my age. And I'm like, well, why? Like, because they're just too, they just, they said they know too much, or they have too many problems, they have too many bad life experiences, and I don't want to deal with that. I want to deal with someone who has no life experiences, someone even said that they can mold. I seen an interview when someone said that I date younger so I can mold them. What type of mind witchcraft wizardry are you trying to do? You're trying to mold them into the woman that you want them to be, because they don't have the past of being hurt or knowing how men really are. So you're just going to manipulate them. It's so fucked up, but it's so true that not all, but some men do think that way, that by dating younger, they can turn this woman into the woman that they're looking for. Like it's a fucking Build-A-Woman workshop. Like Build-A-Bear, but like Build-A-Woman. And I know a lot of women feel that they can have Build-A-Man workshops too, because it's hard out here to put everything into one person and having it all in one person. But it's out there. We just have to stand on business. And that's the thing that everybody's saying this year, is that they want to stand on business. Well, stand on business about who it is you want to be with. Stand on business about what you're looking for when it comes to a relationship, when it comes to love, and when it comes to what you want. And if the person is younger than you, fine. So what? I've had more fun with this man who is 2 years younger than me than I've had fun with men who are older than me and who are my age. And not just like the whole thing of people saying, oh, it's a sexual thing, or, like even the Dr. Kawasaki said the whole sexual thing is why most older women go for men who are younger. And she didn't give an age. She did, well, actually no, she did say it has to be 2 years and younger. So I guess I'm right at the beginning mark. So 2 years and younger is considered dating someone younger than you. Someone who's just a year younger than you doesn't mean much of anything, I guess. But it's just knowing that we both want the same things and knowing that's where we want to go. And the action behind the words. Like I said, you could talk as much as you want to talk, but if you don't act on it, what are we doing? I've dated guys who are my age who act like they're younger than a 25-year-old. They act like they're still 22, like they're still 21. I know men who are older than me in their 40s who still act like they're 20, 21. So it really depends. And again, you can date somebody who's 27, 28, 29, and they can act like a 27, 28, 29 year old. But then you have those who are of that age, and that will show you that, like, when you ask them their age, they're like, well, how old are you? 29. You don't even act like a 29-year-old. You don't act like a 27-year-old. They act like they're in their 40s. They act very mature. They act like they know exactly what they want, and they show you that they know exactly what they want. So I think the big thing is the showing. You can talk to me all you want. You can say whatever you want to say. But if your words don't match up with your actions, then you're just talking, you're talking to the wall at this point. You might as well talk to the wall at this point, because what are you telling me? Nothing. So I think that's very important for women to remember, that there will be things that you have to understand when dating younger, but you also have to look at the person's character and look at what it is they're bringing to the table and what it is that they're showing you, rather than just their age. Like, it's also, and then for men who are dating women who are older, you have to also understand, you have to come correct, because majority of us who are older, like I said, know what we want. And majority of us as well who do not have children want to have children. And again, we're on this ticking time bomb where we don't have that much time. Like, granted, there are women who are still having kids in their 40s. God bless them. But a lot of women, if I'm being honest, don't want to have, or don't want to start having children in their 40s. They kind of want to start having kids in their young early 30s, mid 30s time. And when you're dating someone in that area, in that age group, you have to understand that's probably one of the things that they're looking for, as well as marriage. And if not marriage, if some people don't believe in marriage, someone who's looking for long-term commitment. And you have to be willing to do that as well, faithfully. Not saying I'm being in a long-term commitment with someone and then still outside running the streets. Pick a side. Pick a side, my brother. Which one are you on? You want to run the streets? You want to spin the block on what you used to deal with? Or do you want to be here and in a happy home underneath the covers and watching a good movie? So it's all packed up in a lot of what ifs or what could be's, but again, it's communication. Communication solves so much confrontation, so many dilemmas that you don't need, as long as you communicate about what it is you're looking for and what it is you want. But I hope you guys liked this episode. It was a very quick episode. I thought it would be longer when I was thinking about, like, what am I going to say, like what things I can touch on. But like I said, it's really not that hard to speak on. But I will be going live now on Wednesdays instead of Fridays. So I'll go on live on Drinks After Work podcast _ or is it Drinks After Work _ podcast, sorry, on Instagram. And I'll be going on live at 5 o'clock on Wednesday, and we'll have the conversation about dating younger. And I'll be doing that from now on. And if ever there's a time where an episode won't come out, or I'm skipping a week, or I need a break, or whatever the case is, I will obviously be letting you guys know. So make sure you follow the Instagram. Make sure you follow my personal Instagram, sincerely, or _sincerely Shell _ I changed my Instagram name so many times, it's terrible, but I'm keeping it now. I'm not changing it no more. And I'll also be putting it on the podcast IG as well. Make sure to follow on TikTok, and I hope you guys have a great night. Yeah, I didn't even say what I was drinking. I wasn't really drinking anything tonight. I was just drinking water. Did enough drinking for the last 2 weekends. between Super Bowl and All-Star weekend, I'm good. I don't need no more drinks until my birthday. So I was just drinking water tonight. So whatever you guys were drinking on, I hope it did bring some type of zen to you. It kind of calmed you down if you had a rough day today. Don't let it spill into tomorrow. Whatever happened today, leave it in today. Go into tomorrow with a peaceful mind. I love you guys for listening. Have a good night. Have a great week. See you guys later. Bye.